if you don't have a mission or a vision statement, if you don't have those like qualities written down of what your team, the attributes that your successful team will have, I really encourage you to write that down. Write down your vision and really get good at being able to communicate that to your team.
Insurance dudes are on a mission to escape being handcuffed by our agencies.
How? By uncovering the secrets to creating a predictable, consistent, and profitable agency sales machine.
I am Craig Pretzinger.
I am Jason Feldman.
We are agents.
We are insurance dudes.
Right now, while it's fresh in your mind, check out live.teledudes.com.
We took our notes from over 100 interviews with top agents from around the country and made it into a live webcast.
Using these strategies led Craig and I to selling more than $10 million in premium in the last 2 years.
On this call, you'll receive the exact blueprint to get the same results.
Just go to live.teledudes.com to register for this upcoming Tuesday's live call with us.
If you jump on this call with us, we're certain 2022 will be an absolutely fantastic year for you.
See you there.
There are 3 qualities that every high performance agency has, especially after doing a lot of interviews and running our own team and everybody that we've talked to. There are 3 qualities that hands down every high performance agency has. So let's just dive into it. So the first one is a strong vision. Every agency owner that I've talked to that does run a high performance agency has a very strong vision for what they want. And they're really good at communicating that to their team. It's very clear. Nobody on the team doesn't know the goal of the agency. So this is super important for every agency owner to have, because it really creates an environment where they're all kind of rowing in the same direction. I know that's cliche, but yeah. So that's number 1, is a strong vision. Number 2 is strong processes. They, across the board, all of them have very strong processes for what they do. And they follow those processes and they track and measure. And then they always tweak the process. And they're trying to get better and better and better. So they all have very, very good processes, which helps them not have to manage people as much. They just manage their processes, and they all have very, very strong ones, documented things that they stick to daily. It's their own playbook, if you will. And number 3 is strong leadership for them and for whoever's on their leadership team. And I wanted to kind of break down leadership, because leadership is not management. There's a huge difference. Management just means that you're kind of telling people what to do, right? You're managing the processes, if you will. And if you don't have any, then you're managing the people. But what leadership is leadership is social influence towards your vision. So that's why it's so imperative that you have a vision, is so that you can communicate that, and you and your leadership team can influence your team towards that vision or that goal. So that's huge, because you can't force people to do stuff. I mean, I guess you can, but well, if you really want to run a high performance team, you have to get everybody kind of excited about what they're doing, especially when it comes to sales, because like people on the phone can smell that a mile away, right? Sales teams are just constantly hearing no's. There's a lot of disappointment. So you got to keep that energy up. So if they have a strong vision and your leadership team is really influencing them towards that vision, towards the goal, and the only way they can do this is by being a great example and pulling those qualities out of your team, which is usually the opposite of the classic management stick, you don't do this and you're in trouble kind of method. It's more of encouraging. So going more towards the positive than the negative. So I would say that those are the 3, hands down, every agency owner that I've talked to that runs a really successful operation has those 3 qualities hands down. Like, I haven't seen anybody that hasn't. So it's something to think about. If you don't have a mission or a vision statement, if you don't have those like qualities written down of what your team, the attributes that your successful team will have, I really encourage you to write that down. Write down your vision and really get good at being able to communicate that to your team. I worked at this one restaurant in Newport Beach, and they started from scratch. And when we came in there, I mean, it was in the middle of kind of nowhere. It was like tucked in the corner. You wouldn't even really know about it. There was nobody coming in. They had really great food, really cool concept. But yeah, as they started bringing people in, the owner was always out there, and he kept telling this story about the reason why he started that. It was a bar restaurant. The reason why he started it, because he went to all these other restaurants and he got kind of poo-pooed by, that's what he said, poo-pooed by all these different restaurants because it was so hoity-toity, but he still wanted to get that kind of vibe and those kind of, that kind of food and drinks and all this stuff. And so he created this place. And then he had a really cool story too about his business partner. And man, he must have told that story 100 times. He had a very clear vision of where he wanted to go. And I watched that business go from, I mean, being in debt, like going negative for 6 months. And then it started kind of taking off. And then now it's big chain and he's uber successful, but it was all because of that really strong vision. That was one of the times that it like really dawned on me how important that was. At the time, I thought the story was, it was kind of cool. And we used it. I was actually bartending there and serving. And we used that story a lot for our guests, and they loved it. And they got bought into the movement. He became the kind of the leader of that movement, and everybody loved to be a part of it because it was a really cool story to be a part of. So I hope that encourages you. I'm sure you have a really, really cool story behind your agency. And if you don't, really think about it, because I mean, I'm sure there's things about your family and everything else, how you got where you got, that would be super encouraging to your team. So that's it. That is the 3 qualities of a high performance insurance agency. Thank you so much. I will talk to you soon. Bye-sies. Is that a thing? Bye-sies?
Hey, what are you still doing here?
Well, while you're still here and while it's fresh in your mind, check out live.teledudes.com.
Yeah, if you weren't listening before, we took notes from over 100 interviews with top agents from around the country and made it into a live webcast.
Using these strategies did help Craig and I write over 10 million in premium in the last couple years.
And let me tell you, on this call, you'll receive the exact blueprint to get the very same results.
Again, that's live.teledudes.com to register for this upcoming Tuesday's live call with us.
And if you jump on with us, we are certain 2022 will be an absolutely fantastic year for you.
See you there.